U.S. Attorney's Office one day from the blue and said, I want to admit that I conspired with a guy named Tatum to not disclose everything to the United States government. My name is Bill Lusinger. I'm very sorry for not disclosing it. You need to prosecute Mr. Tatum.
and who is his friend that told him to do that?
It's one of Oliver North's campaign managers.
Oh, Ollie North, okay, the hero
from the United States Marines.
Yeah, the hero from the Marines who was involved in drug dealing. Go ahead.
That's right.
And so the U.S. Attorney prosecuted you?
So the U.S. Attorney prosecuted me. Our attorneys, since they seized all of our assets, the government, we had no way to pay an attorney, retain an attorney, even though we had friends who were attorneys for years, working in other arenas. However, they weren't criminal attorneys. I never needed that before. So we had to depend on public defenders. The public defender's office, they were independent counsel outside of the public defender's office that the U.S. hired. Out of 80 witnesses that we listed for our defense, not one witness was contacted, not one witness was called to provide a defense for us. After the trial was over, Nancy's attorney said in front of my brother, my mother, and a newspaper reporter who had covered the treason charge that I was charged with, he said that he couldn't provide a defense. He couldn't call him because he was told that he'd never work again. He was approached in a bar by some people from the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency.
And the result, of course, is that you were convicted, right?
The result is I was convicted. My new attorney filed a request for release, stating there are some real problems with this conviction. For one thing, he didn't have a real trial. There was no defense. And the appeals court looked at it and said, whoa. So they gave me an immediate release on April 4th after spending 2 years in federal prison.
This is April 4th, just this last month.
That's correct.
And what's the future for you?
We don't know. They could come back down, especially with me doing these programs. They could come back down tomorrow and say, or this afternoon, throw the cuffs on and say, you're too noisy.
Well, that's why we have to get this information out as soon as possible.
That's correct.
Get the people aware of it. And they also came after your wife, Nancy, right?
They convicted her. My attorney said they convicted her to coerce me into turning the stuff over. I talked to her, and she said, I'll go to prison first, sweetheart.
And you were approached by two Secret Service prior to a trip to South and Central America, where you went down to pick up some documents that would implicate a number of interesting people, and came back up here. You shook a surveillance down there, came back up here. You were approached and asked to turn those documents over to the government. You refused, and that's after that they arrested you and tried you, right?
That's correct.
Okay, folks, that's the story. And how about your wife? Was she released, or was she serve time, or what?
She has a felony conviction. She had to go to a halfway house for 30 days. That concerned us, especially with the fate of Barry Seal going to a federal halfway house. And then she was on an ankle bracelet for 5 months. Following that, 2 weeks ago, she came off of that. Now she's on 3 years supervised release.
Okay, folks, be right back. Ted Gunderson, Intelligence Report. No question about it. And my guest today is Gene Chip Tatum, 25-year deep cover operative, CIA. Before we go back to Chip, I want to just make a few announcements. Kathy O'Brien and Mark Phillips will be at the San Remo Hotel at 7 p.m. on the 5th. That's this coming Tuesday, I believe. And they will be lecturing on mind control out of control. By the way, Kathy is a victim of the MK-Ultra CIA mind control program. Mark is her friend and associate who came along and rescued her, has been able to deprogram her. They have a book that's available, Transformation of America. It's a must. You should buy it. Send me $18. Ted Gunderson, Post Office Box 18,000-259, Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'll send you a copy of their book, Transformation of America, Kathy O'Brien. Don't miss this, all you folks living there in Las Vegas. By the way, yesterday I forgot to mention also that I'm sending a letter to all the former FBI agents. There's a lot of good people out there that don't know what's going on. This letter will include summary of information from Chip Tatum right here on the show and other cases that I've been familiar with. To all former FBI agents, about 7,000 of them. I need money in order to handle this. I anticipate the cost will be between $4,000 and $4,500. If any of you folks can help me out, I'd appreciate it. Send a check to Ted Gunderson, Post Office Box 18,000-259, Las Vegas, Nevada 89109. The lower left-hand corner, put a notation, FBI project, so I keep the money separate. Now, we're having a series of 6 shows with Chip, total of 12 hours, 2 hours for each show, and this audio will be available to you on a package deal. Normally that would be $120, and the folks here at the studio and the satellite station are making it available to you. That's the American Freedom Network. Are making it available to you for $49.95. I urge you to buy this tape, this audio tape of these 12-hour, 6 shows, and I think we're going to have Chip on a regular basis. I'd like to set up a day of each week and have you back, because I have so many things I want to cover, Chip, and we can't seem to get to all of them. But anyway, a 12-hour, 6 shows, $2 hours each, $49.95. Call 800-205-6245, 800-205-6245. And for those of you this first hour who do not have a shortwave radio, you can buy one through this number, 800-205-6245, and you can listen to the second hour of the show on shortwave. It's broadcast out of WWCR Nashville 12.160 frequency. Chip, back to you. And actually, I had a question in mind, and then I got on these announcements, and it skipped me.
Can I hop in with something real quick?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
We had talked about Epic and the enormous job that they have to do. And let me explain something to you. You know, the levels of corruption at the CIA are, it's sitting at very high levels. But the big problem we have in the drug trafficking and drug trade and drugs coming into the United States, one of the biggest problem we have is the enormity, the number of corrupt individuals in U.S. Customs. Boy, I'll tell you, there aren't many that aren't on the take there. Between them and the way that they work their confidential informant program, it's amazing that they're able to stop anything.
Yes, I had on the Nebraska case, Frank McCover-up case out of that I worked back in the, I'm still working it from the late 80s up to the present time. Paul Benassi told me he's made over 100 trips, drug trips around the world. When he was 10, 11, 12 years old, he would fly to L.A., and meet a couple, a man and woman he had never seen before. They'd have 5 passports and different names for each one of them. They'd jump on a plane, and they were just dropping drugs all over the world. He also told me that there was a customs agent at LAX in Los Angeles who was dirty, and he would fly out from Nebraska out to LAX, go to a certain locker with the key, pull it out, and take the drugs back to Omaha, Nebraska on a regular basis. Also, Alicia Owens made this statement. And by the way, Alicia is serving 15 years for perjury, and Paul Benassi has been convicted of child molestation. So that's what they did to them for talking and coming forward and refusing to keep their mouths shut. Chip, what about Bush? We talked about him. We talked about Nixon giving the order to have you folks killed on the Cambodian air raid. What about Bush? What can you tell us about him? George Bush, that is.
George Bush.
Yeah, George, Jeb, all of them. Whoever the...
As General Noriega said on 60 Minutes or 2020 or whatever the other night, George Herbert Walker Bush. I think instead of Herbert Walker, it should be Trouble. His middle name is Trouble. He intends on providing trouble for each and every person who are listening to this program and each and every person sitting in the United States comfortable with their way of life.
And explain that.
He's the man who has masterminded and has put together the heavy movement of drugs during Iran-Contra. He's the man who has masterminded and taken over control of the Reagan White House during at least 6 years of the Reagan presidency, and then 4 of his own. That's 10 years in complete control, plus a year as the director of the CIA. Anyone who thinks that he isn't a very, very, very powerful man needs to look today at where he goes, who he talks to. He has direct inroads to every leader in the world. He goes to those leaders, he talks to them, he attempts to align them for what will be a new world order, a single government. If they don't align, then they leave this earth.
Yes, or they have a revolution or something, right?
That's correct. Something happened.
You have direct knowledge of Bush's involvement in the drug operation.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
While I was flying, he was in. People don't realize it, but George Bush, in the heights of everything going on in the Iran-Contra situation, in 1985, on April 12th, was in Honduras. He was meeting with He met with the president of Colombia. He met with the president of Honduras. I mean, and in the meantime, we were building the cocaine kitchens for them. His National Security Director, Don Gregg, met with me at dinner a week preceding Mr. Bush's arrival, explaining what needed to be done and what had to be in place before he got there.
Don Gregg being the advance man.
That's right.
And he talked to you about Bush coming in, and did he discuss drugs?
He discussed drugs.
What did he say?
It's all in the Tatum Chronicles. It's written down in the back of the flight plan.
Oh, yeah, we better stop right now. How do these people get a hold of Tatum Chronicles?
It's at 1-800-201-7892. 800-201-7892, extension 58. For those who are outside of the United States, I'll give a number in the second hour on how they can get that.
Yeah, let's be sure to do that second hour.
Right.
Okay, what did Don Gregg say about that drug and Bush coming in?
Mr. Gregg, while he was there, passed on a large briefcase of money to be taken to a meeting that was going to be held in Iran-Contra, Costa Rica, and to be put in the amalgamated account.
Be right back, folks. Ted Gunderson, Intelligence Report. And we're back. My guest is Chip Tatum, CIA operative, 25 years. Folks, call 800-205-6245 without fail. Get a copy of the tape, audio tapes of this show and other shows, a total of 6 shows, $49.95, and make copies and give them to your friends. It's a fantastic gift to educate people around you who do not think this is going on. It's something that they can use when they take trips this summer in their car. They can put this tape in and listen to it. So far, we're going to have 12 hours and probably more. Okay, you were talking about Don Gregg, advance man for George Bush, brought a large briefcase of money. Tell us about that. A large briefcase of money was delivered to us at the embassy in Tegucigalpa. It was to be taken to a meeting in El Acatal, Costa Rica. At that meeting, there would be William Barr, General Noriega, Amir Amnir, Mike Harari, both of the Mossad, Joe Fernandez, CIA, and Felix Rodriguez. The instructions given, and General Alvarez from the Honduran Army, their chief of staff. The instructions given were very basic, deposited in the amalgamated account in Panama. It was to go to General Noriega. So it went to Noriega in the end then. How much money was there? From what I understand, there was about $23 million. And Noriega put it in his bank, and then when we invaded Noriega in 1989, the money was gone, I guess, huh? Oh, there was a lot more than that gone. We had replaced the Bush administration or the Reagan administration, Bush administration, whichever you want to call it, had replaced many of the stores of cash that the cartels had in Noriega's bank with what's called counterfeit super bills. Those super bills were sitting in there, and we took the real money out, and we're using that around the world in operations. The one thing we couldn't allow happen, though, was for all that money to come out and be thrown into the marketplace. And we were afraid that General Noriega would yank that money out and spend it. And what happened? Well, we got rid of the owner of the money. So you had to worry about the counterfeit money. Pablo Escobar. And I believe, if my memory serves correct, the armies of General Noriega were whisked away from around their Federal Reserve Bank. We emptied the vaults and took Noriega to prison. This is the Panama invasion in 1989, right? That's correct. Folks, I have a video of this. It's $35. You won't believe it. It's American GI, young American boys, mowing down, killing civilians. They went into homes and burned out the homes and just destroyed them. They were like Nazi stormtroopers. Send $35 to Ted Gunderson, Post Office Box 18,259 for this video. You will not believe it. Have you seen this video, Chip? I haven't, Ted. Oh, it's unreal. I'll have to call in and get that baby. What? I'll have to call in and get that baby. Well, just call me and I'll take care of you on that one. Yeah, we don't. Guests on the show don't have to pay for anything. That's the least I can do for you for getting this information out. Anything more you want to mention about Bush? Sure, I'd love to mention quite a bit more about Mr. Bush. I guess the quiz would be what is the connection between George Bush and Olof Palme? Olof Palme was the Prime Minister of Sweden who was assassinated in 1986. I think it would be very interesting to the people out there as they hear about neutralizations, and people of the world as they hear about neutralizations, about a meeting that took place between Mr. Palme, Mr. North, and Mr. Don Gregg.
one of the things that needed to be done